Hi, you two, and welcome to your Thursday writing lesson. You need to make sure that you have your plan from yesterday with you to help you with your writing today. The plan that we did yesterday, which looked a little bit like this one. So you would now have a breakdown of your title, your setting, characters, some of the problems, and the resolution for the story, Jack and the Beanstalk. So today we're actually going to start by using some of those elements from our plan to retell the story creatively using your own words. Now, I'd like to see some experimentation with talking marks, making sure that you're putting those quotation marks or talking marks around when your character is talking and trying to use different words than said. So instead of said Jack, whispered Jack or shouted Jack. So using some of those different words to describe how characters are speaking to each other. But first off, what we need to do is have a little think about the structure of a narrative. So our learning intention for narratives, I've got it written here, that we're learning to create our own narrative text using the right language features and text structures. Okay, so we know that when we start a new writing unit, we always start off thinking about the structures, how we need to organise our thinking. So we have title and orientation. Now that's the start of the story where we set the scenes. We include a setting, who is there, and when the story takes place. The complication. So the complication is the biggest part of the story. What is the problem? That's this part of the story. So the complication is also called the problem. And the last part is the resolution, or how the problem gets solved. So you can see that I have my paper set up with a margin, and that's because I'm going to make sure that I show you how I'm organising my writing. You don't need to do this, and you don't need to write what section you're up to next to your writing either. That's just what I'm doing so that you can see. So the first structural feature I can see there is a title, and the title of my story, of course, being Jack and the Beanstalk. Okay, so now that structural feature is called the title, so I'm going to pop that in my margin. The next part of my story is the orientation, so I'm just going to change colours. I'm going to write orientation in the margin. Now I can check on my list. The orientation needs to include when the story takes place, where the story takes place, and who is there at the beginning. Now, it doesn't have to be right at the beginning. Sometimes stories can start in the middle of an exciting scene, a car chase, or something exciting that's happened. But for this fairy tale, I'm going to start with the traditional Once Upon a Time. You don't have to, but I'm going to. Okay, so I've got my orientation written now. I've got a couple of things I'd like to check. The word upon. I never know if it begins with an A or an O, so I need to check that. Okay, so I might come back to that tomorrow. So I'm going to read to you now my orientation, and I want you to be thinking, has she included when the story was set, where it was set, and who was there at the beginning? So thumbs up, fingers up for each of those things. Once upon a time, in a faraway land, there lived a poor widow and her son, Jack. So, a land far away, that's where the story takes place. When, once upon a time, and who? A poor widow and her son, Jack. Go. Wow, that was pretty good. Okay. As we get more confident with our narrative writing, our orientations get more complex and a lot more descriptive. So the next structural feature we have is a complication. Now, depending on what your plan says, my problem is that the family were very poor. So my plan here, my writing here will going to start by describing that the family were very poor and it had been a very long, hard winter and they needed some money, so they're going to sell their cow. So I need to think about how I could put that into some sentences so that it's exciting for my audience. I think I might start by describing the cold winter. Okay, I'm just going to label this section of the story. It had been a long, hard winter and they were running out of food. Now, I have remembered the short vowel there means I have to double the consonant. Running out of food. I'm actually just looking back over my work there and I can actually see a couple of errors that I have made. I'm going to use a black texter and I'm just going to edit a couple of things so that I can see them as I've gone back to revise. One of our big focuses for punctuation has been to make sure that we put capital letters for proper nouns like people's names. Even in my title, I haven't popped a capital letter for Jack's name. And I'm sure there's lots of you at home who saw that when I did it and were probably yelling at the screen. And I've got a short vowel here. And I know that when I have a short vowel and a k sound afterwards, I need to use the digraph CK. And I'm now scanning because I know that I wrote Jack again, and I think I did the same thing. Here it is. Had to use my tracking eyes to pick it up. So short vowel, when it's an at sound or an ot sound, you need to use digraph CK when it's a short vowel. So an at, e, I, o, or a. Great. Okay. You can see that I've organised my writing into paragraphs, so one idea per paragraph. I'm going to stop there today and you guys need to start your own narrative writing. I will come back and do some more tomorrow, some more instructions for you. Only a little bit tomorrow because we need to be sneakily making our Father's Day or special person's cards. So today I need you to write your title, orientation, making sure that you include when the story takes place, where the story takes place, and who is there at the start, and then start writing your problem. Let your audience know exactly what is going wrong. Okay, if you want to go back to the Padlet from yesterday and watch the clip again of Jack and the Beanstalk, that would be a great idea. Okay, and remember, use your plan. That's why it's there. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.